Alright, hey guys, how's it going? We have a sort of surprise Void 3.0 blog that just came out. Wasn't expecting this the day after the Vidoc. I thought something like this would come out maybe Thursday for the TWAB or next Tuesday maybe, but hey, I'm all for it. So I wanted to read through this with you guys. I haven't done it yet. I've just looked here at this intro, which I think is pretty safe to skip. So I would like to start right here where I see like the first new thing. Let's get started. These verbs manifest themselves in the forms of new actions for the players to use in the heat of battle. New actions, such as the Trapper's Ambush, will find hunters diving and slamming into the ground, weakening enemies and causing nearby allies to temporarily become invisible. We saw this in the Vidoc actually, just like in the background. It looks pretty cool. It's basically just Shatter Dive, but with invisibility and weakening. Titans will be able to grant barriers to allies, and Warlocks will be able to summon entities from beyond the Void to help in the tide of battle. None of that was available before Witch Queen. The old Void subclass Diamond system was rooted around a melee augment, a super augment, and then 2 passives. What we've done is essentially added 2 new sections. Yes, you still get your melee, yes, you get your super, but now you get 2 new things that either plus up your existing kit or give you something new that you didn't have before. We're taking elements and abilities from the Diamonds and promoted them to full-size aspects, said Destiny designer Samuel Dunn. The Warlock's Chaos Accelerant ability is a good example, where the Warlock can charge their Void Grenade into more powerful versions and throw them. While that's something that existed before, we believe that the performance and the identity of that ability is stronger and feels like a unique ability, enough to stand on its own as an aspect. I completely agree. With the 3.0 upgrades, we're trying to take the cool parts of what already existed and then add in new stuff where we feel like there are holes to be filled. Before we take a deeper look at each class's implementation of Void 3.0, let's align some terminology. Some Void attacks apply 1 or more of 6 debuffs or buffs that confer a tactical advantage to the Guardians. So these are those verbs. We have Suppress. The target is taken out of any active ability while suppressed. While suppressed, the target cannot activate any abilities or movement modes. Combatants are disorientated. Weaken, the target takes increased damage and has slower movement and is disorientated. Volatile, the target will explode and avoid detonation upon taking additional damage. If the target dies before the volatile has taken enough damage to detonate, it'll just detonate anyways. Invisibility, the player vanishes from sight and doesn't appear on radar. Overshield, the player gains a protective barrier that immediately stacks on top of their existing health and shields and intercepts incoming damage. Overshields reduce the damage taken from PvE combatants. And Devour, which was Warlock specific before. The player is immediately restored to full health upon activating Devour from any source and is granted grenade energy. When the player gets any kill with Devour active, they are restored to full health, granted more grenade energy, and their Devour buff timer is extended. So it looks like now they're going to show a bit off of each class. This is exciting. Hopefully it's some new things. We have Titan. A Void-enabled Titan is a stalwart shield of the fire team, whether serving up Ward of Dawn protective bubbles to withstand furious enemy assaults or charging the battlefield shield in hand, mowing down opponents. Previously, the 2 supers, Ward of Dawn and Sentinel Shield, were tied to one another from a control standpoint, so the Titan had to use a similar input and sit through a chunk of the Sentinel Shield's activation before the Ward of Dawn was created. So it sounds like they're separating it. Let's see. That's pretty quick. That's nice. With Void 3.0, the 2 functions are separated, which means that Ward of Dawn is now nearly instantly activated. In addition, the Ward of Dawn has been moved to the fastest super cooldown tier, like Well, making it much more available to the Titan in need. This change means it's a much better reactionary defensive tool. So, as an example, if a hunter were to jump at you and cast Blade Barrage, the Titan can now pretty reliably activate Ward of Dawn before any of the enemy's super lands. Just as before, Sentinel Shield will allow the Titans to traverse the battlefield bashing their foes with their Void Shield, or tossing it as a melee attack. Thrown Shields will damage opponents and apply Volatile. if Controlled Demolition is equipped, while Shield Bash kills will grant a full Overshield. Yeah, like, Overshield got cracked pretty quick. There's the volatile explosion. Sounds like we heard a healing grenade at the end there. There are 3 Titan aspects to choose from within Void 3.0. Oh, so they're giving us all of them. Hitting a target with a Void ability or volatile detonation will make them volatile. Damn, that one's really good. That's just Bottom Tree Dawn with the explosions. That's sick. Bastion, casting Barricade generates Overshield for yourself and nearby allies. Those bunkering behind the shield will generate Overshield over time and extend its duration. I feel like the Overshield has to be pretty strong, because if that's this one here, he has full Overshield, it looks like. Walks out, I guess it got cracked super quick. Maybe he didn't have it on, I don't know. Offensive Bulwark. While you have Overshield or inside Ward of Dawn, grenades charge significantly faster and you have increased melee damage. You also gain an additional shield throw for your Sentinel Shield super. That one can be pretty. Maybe with these two then paired, that's a pretty cool loop. And then, I don't know what you would, if you do Controlled Demolition, if you would just take Bastion, or there's enough Overshields still that you would do these two. Moving on to Hunter. The Hunter prioritizes movement and stealth in the heat of battle, whether it's enjoying a few moments of tactical recalibration in a tense encounter by briefly vanishing after dodging an attack, or setting snares and traps to disorient and slow their opponents. A fight with the Hunter is always a study in agility, surprise, and deadly precision. So this is called Vanishing Step. I assume this is just a dodge. Wait, no. Okay, no, it is the dodge. Does anyone know? Is this a different animation? Because he didn't roll. I feel like Hunters always roll when they dodge. I don't know, From what I've seen in PvP, I never see him like sidestep like that. Very cool, if new. In addition to the Spectral Blade Super, the Shadow Shot variants that Hunters are accustomed to, Deadfall and Mobius Quiver, will still be found in the Void 3.0 updates, so there are some changes to be aware of. For example, Mobius Quiver will fire volleys of 3 arrows that will now track targets and make them volatile if they are tethered. In addition, with Deadfall... Oh. I should turn Discord off. Whatever. In addition, with Deadfall, the Void Anchors that are now dropped after Shadow Shots will now pull enemies towards it when it impacts the surface or target. The Hunter's Snare Bomb melee ability will now weaken opponents. In PvP, players caught in a Snare Bomb will have their HUD removed and an obscuring screen effect applied for a short time. So this is the new Mobius Quiver. You can see there's the 3. You fire 3 arrows. And they're volatile as well. He's turning invisible every kill. Jesus. There's a new finisher there with a butterfly? Or a moth? Sick. Hunters will have 3 aspects to select from within Void 3.0. Trapper's Ambush. Players can activate Quickfall to spend their melee charge and dive to the ground. So it costs melee. It would be like if Shatter Dive costed your melee. Creates a smoke cloud on impact. Enemies caught in the cloud are weakened and allies become invisible. In addition, Snare Bombs, upon attaching to surfaces or enemies, cause nearby allies to become invisible. Okay. Vanishing Step. Dodging makes you invisible. Simple enough. And then Stylish Executioner. Defeating a void debuff target, weakened, suppressed, or volatile, grants invisibility and true sight. While invisible and after a stylish execution, your next melee attack weakens enemies. So this one has a whole gameplay loop around it. With the defeating a void debuff target, you go invis. And then your next melee weakens something, which is a debuff. So when you kill them, you go invis again. So you can keep this loop of being invisible forever, being invisible and weakening something like over and over and over. You can keep this loop, and that seems super sick. And then maybe you pair it with Vanishing Step too, and you're just permanently invis, or you do Trapper's Ambush. Costing a melee charge, I get it, because just being able to go invis whenever is OP, but still, it feels a little bit bad. My boy Warlock. The infinite mysteries of the universe are the playgrounds of warlocks. When they aren't nose deep in an ancient text, warlocks are floating around the battlefield, healing allies and creating havoc among their foes. Void 3.0 fine-tunes these powers, and the warlock's new aspects will, among other abilities, summon a brand new type of support from the yawning void of space-time. Nova Warp Super lets warlocks quickly teleport from one spot to the next, and players can choose to let loose with a deadly void eruption. With the Vortex Super enhancement, a player's Nova Bomb will now draw enemies into the singularity it creates, damaging them once inside. Sick. Awesome. Casting a Void Bomb with the Cataclysm enhancement will cause it to travel across the battlefield and seek out enemies. Detonations will shatter into smaller seekers, and shooting it, the Nova Bomb itself, will cause it to detonate early. The Warlock's melee Pocket Singularity files an unstable ball of void energy that detonates when it nears enemies, pushing them away from the blasts and making them volatile. Okay. According to Destiny designer Mike Humboldt, he expects this melee will find particularly loose in Crucible. We do a lot of PvP testing, and knocking someone who is trying to shotgun rush you off the map with the Pocket Singularity is always a good time. So it sounds a bit like what they did with handheld Supernova, how it like pushes people back now. That's just like the normal melee now. Let's see if this will show it. Oh, this is Child of the Old Gods. Okay. Jesus, look at that. That's incredible. It's a cool submachine gun too. As with Titans and Hunters, Warlocks will have three aspects. We have Chaos Accelerant, which is the grenade one. Hold down the grenade button to overcharge your Vortex, Axion Bolt, Scatter, and Magnetic Grenades. Magnetic Grenades overcharge into handheld Supernova. That's cool. That's really cool. And I assume the others are the same. Feed the Void. Defeat an enemy with a Void ability to activate Devour. Okay. So it's just Devour, except you cannot eat your grenade to get it. But now you can get a grenade kill to activate it. So a bit of give and take. I have to think on that one for a bit. But it's cool. It's interesting. And then we have Child of the Old Gods, which is that Rift thing. Cast your Rift to summon a Void Soul. When you damage an enemy with your weapon, your Void Soul will launch itself towards them and detonate nearby, attaching draining tendrils which deal damage and weaken the target. When your Void Soul deals damage, it either restores melee and grenade energy if you're running a healing rift, or health if running empowering rift back to you. Defeating an enemy who is being drained grants rift energy. So you're getting rift energy always, and then health with an empowering, or melee and grenade with healing. What is he running here? Empowering. So he's getting not a like substantial amount of health. Oh, but pretty decent. feel like the healing one might be really good. Melee and grenade? Sheesh. Samuel Dunn calls the Child of the Old Gods aspect a passion project for him. It really seems like it. Seems like it has a lot of work put into it. Something the team worked on for quite a while to get right. I'm a Warlock main at heart, and I really love summoning little friends like the Arc Soul and Bleak Watcher. So I wanted to make sure that the Void Soul felt like a black hole, but with a little personality too. And here is Chaos Accelerant, the grenade charging. That's the... I think the scatter grenade. Yeah, because there's... Yeah, that's scatter. To complement the class-specific aspects, Void 3.0 will also introduce a new fragments, which offer new perks to build upon, as well as add bonuses or penalties to your Guardian's intrinsic stats. Here's a look at a few of the new fragments. Okay, so we'll have the like plus 10 discipline, minus 10 recovery on some of them that Stasis had. We have Echo Expulsion. Void ability kills cause enemies to explode. Intellect bonus. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. It feels like they're not... It's not volatile. It's not a volatile explosion, because I feel like it would say Void ability kills cause enemies to like volatile explode. So this just gives your abilities Firefly, basically. Okay, God. Echo of Provision. Damaging enemies with grenades grants melee energy. Strength penalty. Interesting. It's a lot better for Warlocks now that they have the ranged one. Echo of Domineering. After suppressing a target, gain greatly increased mobility for a short duration, and your equipped weapon is reloaded from reserves. Discipline bonus. Okay. And Echo of Undermining. Void grenades weaken enemies. Discipline penalty. Ooh. That's just, I'm having a brain fart. The artifact mod that weakened enemies, okay. Oppressive Darkness. There. Ooh. This is literally like Oppressive Darkness as a fragment. Holy crap. This one seems busted. Another significant change for Void 3.0 is that all subclasses will have access to all Void grenade types in the game. For example, as a hunter, you'll be able to run with Suppressor or Magnetic instead of choosing between just Void Spike, Void Wall, or Vortex. In addition, some grenades will see upgrades. For example, the Lingering Field created by the Vortex grenades will now suck enemies into it. Yes, dude! Okay. Awesome, dude. Players who have played Destiny before the Witch Queen expansion will still have access to all Void 3.0 aspects and most fragments with the launch of the Witch Queen. Several fragments will be available after the World First raid completion. Ooh! Interesting. New Destiny 2 players will earn their aspects and fragments as part of the new light game experience. Across all of these ability tweaks, new powers, and buildcraft options, one theme is clear. The team behind Void 3.0 is focused on giving Guardians the chance to fulfill their fantasy of their chosen class by giving them ample opportunity to do what their class does best. We've built out multiple ways for players to access and key off their core verbs. For example, Dunn said the Titan has several ways to earn and extend Overshield in a fight. Use the Bastion aspect to create a barricade and grant Overshield to you and your allies. The shield throw melee can grant Overshield, as does the shoulder charge. So it sounds like they have multiple melees as well. I wonder if Warlock will? We'll see. With Overshield, the Titan also gets increased grenade recharge and melee damage. As a result of these new buildcraft options, players can double and even triple dip into these verbs, like Overshield for Titans or Invisibility with Hunters. It means you can do the things that your class is supposed to do all the time. Void 3.0 launches with the Witch Queen on February 22nd. This was really informative and, like, I think perfect. Vortex sucking things in, all these Warlock things looking sick, the Hunter's freaking stylish executioner here. Invis, like, he's not even doing like the melee. This is pretty cool. I'm so excited for Witch Queen. This Void 3.0 sounds sick. Can't wait to get my hands on it. I'm sure you guys are feeling the same way. It's gonna do it for me. You guys have a good one. I'll see you next time.